Good morning. The time is exactly 7 o'clock a.m. right here in the studios of HitzAfrik Radio in Ghana. You're logged on to www.modernghana.com on the TuneIn app, HitzAfrik Radio. You can as well follow us on all our social media handles at HitzAfrik Radio. Log on to our website www.hitzafrik.org. This morning I bring you the news at 7 o'clock a.m. and my name is Abina Ahinie to the headlines. Over 300,000 Ghanaians have been vaccinated. NLC to meet worker unions Dombo University. Ivory Coast Prime Minister Ahmed Bakayoko dies. This and many other stories I bring your way this morning. Stay tuned for the news and details. News in our locality in Ghana. Over 300,000 Ghanaians vaccinated so far. The Deputy Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Anthony Adofo-Ofosu, has said over 300,000 Ghanaians have been vaccinated against the coronavirus as of March 10, 2021. He said this in an interview with the media of the sidelines of the annual performance revenue meeting of the Central Regional Health Service. Mr. Adofo-Ofosu said the program has been successful. Despite the initial reluctance from some Ghanaians, he further urged Ghanaians to ignore the conspiracy theories surrounding the vaccine and go for their shots. We are glad people are beginning to accept the vaccines. We intend to testify the campaigns for people to go in for the vaccines using influencers. The vaccines are very safe. I urge every Ghanaian to go for the jab, he urged. The Deputy Director of Ghana Education Service of Ghana Health Services has disclosed that over 3,600 health workers, care providers across the country have been infected with the virus, while 14 of them have lost their lives in the discharge of their duties. Ghana was the first recipient of the COVID-19 vaccine doses distributed by the COVAX. A global vaccine sharing initiative, Ghana took delivery of 600,000 of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine made by the Serum Institute of India on the February 24th. In other stories, NLC to meet the unions of Dombo University payroll migration. The National Labour Commission (NLC) is set to meet worker unions at the Simon Diabong Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies SDDUBIDS over moves to migrate them into the Controller and Accountant General's Department payroll. This comes after the work union threatened to strike on 18th of March 2021 over the intended move. The NLC, as a statement said, in that invited the unions to engage them on their concerns about the planned migration. The parties are hereby invited to appear before the Commission on Wednesday, 17th of March 2021 at exactly 2 p.m. GMT. The National Labour Commission, in the exercise of its direction, the SD Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies SDDU BIDS Secretary of UTAG, GAUA, SSA, UOG, and TEWU to stay intended actions. The unions, which involve the Ghana Association of University Administrators, GAUA, the University Teachers Association of Ghana, UTAG, Senior Staff Association Universities of Ghana, SSA-UOG, and the Tertiary and Education Workers Union, TEU, have urged that the intended migration could lead to a downgrade in salaries, allowances, and other conditions of services. We have served GTEC a letter expressing our discontentment and have demanded the GTEC to withdraw the said letter with immediate effect and communication by Thursday, March 11, 2021. If we do not receive a response from the GTEC by the said date, our members have resolved to embark on a strike action by 18th of March 2021, they said in a statement. The unions have also urged President Akufo-Addo to intervene in the matter. In a separate statement, they asked the president to stop the GTEC CAGD from migrating SDD UBID staff, the staff of the CKT, UTAS, and UESD to CAGD's payroll unit. All negotiations are concluded by the national unions UTAG, GAUA, SSAUOG, and TEU, and the MOE, MOF, CAGD, and LC. The Simon Diodon Dambo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies was previously the WA campus of UDS before being migrated to autonomy. In other stories, we've not announced sanctions against persons who refuse to take the COVID-19 vaccine. The government has denied reports that it's intended to sanction persons who fail to take the COVID-19 vaccines. It says publicans to that effect are fake and must be disregarded by the public. In a statement regarding to the report, the Ministry of Information has said there is no such decision like that to be taken by the government. The media report that made a claim cited from Information Minister Kojo Oppong Nkrumah's recent press interaction at the Pejasi Lodge on Monday, 8, 2021. During that event, the minister indicated that the country does not need to introduce sanctions, but it should become necessary. Some actions will be taken. However, some media reports claim definitely that the government had taken a decision to sanction people who do not take the vaccine. The attention of the Ministry of Information has been drawn to a false publication by a number of reputable online portals and newspapers to the effect that government will sanction persons who refuse to take the COVID-19 vaccine. The said reportage is false. Government has neither taken nor announced any such decision. For the advantage of doubt, below is the quotation mark of the marks of the Minister for Information at the press briefing in Pejasi on Monday, March 8, 2021, when asked about the whether or not sanctions will be imposed on persons who refuse the COVID-19 vaccines. He says, as at now, there are no sanctions that have been ruled out. We are encouraging strongly that people should take the vaccine, and we are pleased that they are observing that the initial vaccine hesitancy appears to be toning down a bit. And we congratulate you, our colleagues in the media, as you are helping us. We congratulate our colleagues in NCCE, ISD, volunteering to take the vaccine. So we have had no need as to now to reintroduce any sanctions. It should become necessary at some point that we consider either what has been done now, I think, in places like Israel or other places where I think in Dubai. You have to do a PCR test at your own cost every week or sometime. Should it become very necessary that we get there, we would advise accordingly, but for now, we are happy at the level of encouragement and volunteering with which some people are stepping up by taking it. The general public is advised to ignore such false proclamation. Ghanaians are, however, encouraged to take the vaccine. Moving on to other stories right here in Ghana. Kolebu Teaching Hospital to handle only emergency surgeries over subject of
and listening to HitzAfrik Radio.
The Kolebu Teaching Hospital, KBTH, says it will only attend to emergency and life-threatening surgeries due to shortage of healthcare staff. The public relations officer at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Mustafa Salifu, explained that some staff members have been deployed to other health facilities to help treat and manage COVID-19 cases in the country. He assured the public that the hospital will resume full operations when the COVID situation is under control. The number of our staff has drastically reduced, and this is because some of them have been mobilized to support the national fight against COVID-19. The one we have left attend to urgent cases such as accidents, so patients whose lives are not under threat can wait. We are all out of the woods, and there is a little pressure we can attend to them. The Ghana Medical Association (GMA) had earlier bemoaned the alarming infection among its members. The association noted that this could have an adverse impact on the country's health system, giving them their frontline
The
role
HitzAfrik
in the
Radio.
fight
Keep
against
it
the
locked.
pandemic. The association, in a statement issued on July last year, noted that more than 150 medical doctors and dentists had tested positive for the COVID-19 since the outbreak of the disease in Ghana in March 2020. Four of its members has also succumbed to the virus that same month. Frontline health workers risk their lives on a daily basis in trying to fight the pandemic. President Akufo-Addo has also indicated that in order to restore normalcy in the country, there was the need to strictly adhere to the COVID-19 protocols as well as to get vaccinated against the virus. The vaccine, together with strict compliance with the safety precautions, is what would allow us to open our community again and embark on the quest to restore normalcy to our lives and their livelihoods, he said. In this light, the government has so far facilitated the vaccination of 200,000 people. Ghana targeted 570,000 people in the first phase of the vaccination, by indications that it will exceed this target. The country's ultimate target is vaccinated 20 million people so as to achieve the immunity. Let's do some other African stories. In Tanzania, Tanzania opposition demands whereabouts of President Magufuli. Several opposition members in Tanzania have called on the authorities to release news of President John Magufuli, who has not appeared in public since February 27th, promoting questions about his state of health. Rumors have swirled up on social media about possible coronavirus contamination, especially in neighboring Kenya, and that the hashtag Pray for Magufuli. Magufuli, 61, has been playing down the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, claiming Tanzania has freed itself from the COVID through prayer. He also rejected any lockdowns or measures such as wearing of masks. But he later admitted that he caught a respiratory disease which was still circulating. Many Tanzanian officials have died in recent weeks, often without the cause of their death being specified. Among them, the first vice president of the semi-autonomous archipelago of Zanzibar, Sheikh Sharif Ahmad, who died in mid-February. His party said he contracted COVID-19. John Magufuli was last seen in public on the February 27th during the swearing-in of his new Secretary General. He then did not participate in the ordinary virtual summit of
Listening to
heads of state
HitzAfrik
of
Radio.
the East
Keep it
African
locked.
Community (EAC), scheduled for the same day, and has not been since sent at the two Sunday services where he is usually filmed live by the national television. His main opponent, Tundu Lissu, said on Twitter, "It is a sad comment on his stewardship of our country that has come to this. That he himself has had the COVID-19 and flown to Kenya in order to prove that prayers, steam inhalations, and other unproven herbal concoctions he's championed are protection against coronavirus." Government sources have denied the information. The Tanzania government has not commented, but Information Minister Innocent Bashungwa warned on Wednesday the media and the public against using rumors of such of information. Tanzania has not published data on COVID-19 since April 2020. In other stories, Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast Prime Minister Ahmad Bakayoko dies from cancer in Germany. Ivorian Prime Minister Ahmed Bakayoko died from cancer at the hospital in Germany on Wednesday. The 56-year-old man seen his health deteriorate sharply in recent days. He had terminal cancer and had been hospitalized at the American hospital in Paris since the beginning of March and was transferred to the hospital in Freiburg, Germany on Saturday to undergo an experimental treatment. Our country is in mourning, said President Alassane Ouattara on Twitter. I have seen the Emirati announce to you the death of Prime Minister Ahmed Bakayoko this Wednesday, 10th March, in Germany following cancer, Ouattara said, adding, he was a great statesman, a model for our youth, a personality of great generosity and exemplary loyalty. A transfer to Turkey, where there was talk of the Ivorian Prime Minister undergoing an emergency transplant, had also been considered for last Thursday, but doctors said he was no longer operable. Bakayoko received treatment in France on the 18th of February. In recent times, he had contracted coronavirus and malaria. During his first stay in Paris at the end of January, he had performed a series of medical tests at the American hospital without any precise diagnosis. Alassane Ouattara went to his bedside, visited the Prime Minister on March 3rd in Paris during a dinner with his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron at the Elysee Palace. The Ivorian president expressed concern about the health of his prime minister. In Libya, Libyan PM supports Libyan-Turkey maritime deal.
You're listening to HitzAfrik Radio. Keep it locked.
Libya's prime minister designated on Tuesday expressed support for the maritime agreement signed between the Turkey and the former UN-backed government based in Tripoli, saying it serves the country's economic interests. Abdulhamid Diyabane made the comment a day before being confirmed as Libya's prime minister. Under the deal with Turkey, Libya has acquired a good share of the gas field that did not possess, he said, but added that Parliament is the one who will approve it. Beiba noted he couldn't say anything about the country's security agreement with Turkey, leaving decisions about those to parliamentarians. Beiba's government, which replaces two rival administrations, one based in the country's east and another in the west, that have been ruling Libya for years, was approved by 132 lawmakers on Wednesday. Oil-rich Libya was plunged into chaos after the 2011 NATO-backed uprising toppled to claim longtime dictator Muammar Gaddafi. The country has been divided into two governments. One is the east and the other in the west, each backed by a vast array of militias as well as foreign powers. Stay tuned as I bring you the foreign stories.
You're listening to HitzAfrik Radio. Keep it locked.
Now let's do some foreign stories. In the United States of America, Biden's $1.9 COVID relief bill passes U.S. Congress. President Joe Biden's $1.9 billion relief bill to help Americans deal with the impact of COVID-19 pandemic has cleared its final hurdle in Congress. The House of Representatives approved the Mass Economic Aid Plan 2020 to 2011 on Wednesday along partisan lines, with no Republicans voting in favor. Having already passed through the Senate, the relief package now heads to Mr. Biden's desk to be signed into law. This sixth COVID-19 relief bill is a major translative one for Biden. The bill passed with all but one House Democrats voting in favor. White House spokesperson Jen Psaki said the president will sign the bill into law on Friday. The bill is about giving the backbone of this nation, the essential workers, the working people who built his country, the people who keep the country going, a fighting chance, Mr. Biden said. He later vowed to share the surplus COVID-19 vaccines globally after ensuring that Americans are immunized. If we have a surplus, We are going to share it with the rest of the world, he said. The final bill includes one-off direct payment worth $1,400 to be sent out to most Americans. It extends weekly jobless benefit payments $300 till September. It also allocates $350 billion to states and local governments, some $130 billion to school reopening, $49 billion for expanded COVID-19 testing and research, as well as $14 billion for vaccine distribution. A proposal to raise the national minimum wage from $7.25 to $15 per hour becoming a sticking point in the Senate and did not make it into the final version of the bill. The package has been broadly popular among Americans. A March Pew Researcher Center poll found that 70% of the U.S. adult survey expressed support for the bill, including 41% of the Republicans. Democrats, who control both chambers of Congress by narrow margins, largely stuck together and managed to retain most of what was initially proposed. When announcing the so-called American Rescue Plan in January, Mr. Biden said the government needed to go big in order to boost the community of the flagging economy. America's worst public health crisis in the century has left more than 527,000 people dead, over 29
You're
million
listening to
infected,
HitzAfrik
unemployed,
Radio. Keep it locked.
skyrocketed over the last year, with a current rate of 6.2%, according to the U.S. Labor Department. Republicans in Congress objected to the bill's price tag. They have called for various elements of the package to be smaller and more targeted, including suggesting stimulus checks should not go to people who have lost income in the last year. House Democrats have abandoned any pretense of unity. House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy said on the floor ahead of the vote. After 5 relief bills, it is on track to be the first passed by the strictly party lines. He noted it was the most expensive single bill in the U.S. history. A legislative history at a cost. Joe Biden just notched his first legislative victory. Now that the $1.9 COVID relief bill has cleared Congress, the new administration will have to fire house of money to fight the economic and social consequences of the pandemic. Stay tuned as I bring you the news of entertainment. Now let's do some entertainment news
You're
this
listening to
morning.
HitzAfrik Radio.
You're still logged on to HitzAfrik Radio on our website www.hitzafrikradio.org. You can as well tune in on the TuneIn app and then log on to www.modernghana.com and you will find HitzAfrik Radio right there. Don't forget to bring in your comments via our Facebook page. We are live, streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at HitzAfrik Radio. Onto the entertainment news this morning. My girlfriend doesn't support my career, but I'm still with her because she's good in bed. Waris disclosed that he is still with a lady because she is good in bed. Ghanaian comic actor, comedian Waris, born Abdul Waris Umaru, has opened up to a talk about his love life. In a recent review with the comedian, Waris revealed that he is in relationship with a younger lady. In the interview, however, the future of Waris and his girlfriend's relationship looks bleak if nothing special happens. This is because, according to Waris, his girlfriend does not support his career as a comic actor. Going further to answer a question as to why his girlfriend was not being supportive of his career, Waris was not but only expressed a thought. For him, it was more likely that his girlfriend was not seeing any future in the comedy career he has taken up. He insisted that despite the lack of support from his woman, they were still together. I don't know, maybe she doesn't see her future in it now, but we're still together, he answered. After his answer, a firm named at Citizen de Lawan wanted to know why comedian worries but still with the girlfriend he claims was not supporting his craft. In other stories, the foreign entertainment news in the United Kingdom. Charlene White quit press awards and criticism of Society of Editors. Charlene White was the first black woman to represent the ITV News at 10. ITV presenter Charlene White was pulled
You're
out as
listening to
host of an
HitzAfrik
award
Radio.
ceremony
Keep it
staffed
locked.
by the Society of Editors, which has come under the fire of the wake of Harry and Meghan's comments about the press. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex said some British tabloids were bigoted. The Society of Editors denied that and said an attack was not acceptable after providing evidence. The Society of Editors denied that and said such an attack was not acceptable. White, known for Loose Women in ITV News, said they should find someone else to host the British Press Award, perhaps someone whose views align with yours. That the UK press is the one institution in the entire country who has perfect record on race, she said. In their recent interview on the Oprah Winfrey, Prince Harry suggested tabloid newspapers were inherited corrupt or racist or biased, which filtered into the rest of society. That was a large part of why he and his wife had left the UK, he said. Prince Harry said the tabloid media created a toxic environment and control and fear. The society editors, which represent almost 400 members of the media, put out a robust defense. The UK media is not bigoted and will not be swayed from its vital role holding the rich and powerful to account following. After criticism, however, it put out a further statement on Wednesday to say its initial comments did not reflect with what we all know. That there is a lot of work to be done in the media to improve diversity and inclusion. In a letter to the organization on Wednesday, White recounted how the society had reproached her to be a judge on the British Press Awards several years ago because the nominees and winners were largely white. You told me you wanted to change. In fact, we spoke at length about it, she said. But here is the thing, I only work with organizations who practice what they preach. My time is precious, so I'd rather not waste it. Since the Black Lives Matter movement really took hold in the UK last year, every single institution in this country had to finally look at the failings and the position in terms of how they treat ethnic minorities, both inside and outside of the walls. But for some unknown reason, you feel the UK press is exempt in that discussion. She added she was a black woman who was consistently stood up for what she believes in, irrespective of the impact that would become on my career. White became the first black woman to represent ITV News at 10 in 2014 and became a regular presenter on Loose Women earlier this year. The British Press Awards are due to be held on the 31st of March. In other stories in our locality here in Ghana, Ebony's driver remanded into prison custody. The driver in charge of the vehicle that caused the death of the hip life artist Priscilla Opoku
You're listening
Kwarteng,
to
who is
HitzAfrik Radio.
popularly known
Keep
as
it locked.
Ebony, has been remanded into prison custody by the Nkaria Circuit Court. Okopihana's Chatti was in charge of the jeep car with the registration number AS49716, which was involved in the accident that claimed the lives of the Hip Life songstress with two others at the spot between Nyamebechere and Insuta on the Sunyani Kumasi Highway on February 8, 2018. Chatti pleaded not guilty in the charges of dangerous driving and driving without license, would reappear before the court presided by Mr. Johnson Abbey on 24th of March 2021. Chatter pleaded not guilty of charges of dangerous driving. Police Chief Inspector Jonas Newlove Ajay told the court that the accused was driving Ebony 20 from Zaria and Kansa 27 and Lance Corporal Bundi Achu Francis 29 from Sunyani to Accra on that fateful day. He said when Oko got to the spot around 2345 hours, he was there with He said when Oko got to the spot around 23:45 hours, where there was a heap of sand on his lane. The prosecution said Oko swerved to the other lane to avoid running into the sand, but unfortunately ran into some railings at the edge of the road, killing of the three occupants of the vehicle. According to the prosecution, Oko sustained injuries and was rushed to the Bichem Government Hospital for treatment. Chief Inspector Ajay said investigations revealed that Oko's driving license had expired on the 28th of August 2015, about 3 years before the accident. According to the prosecution, upon advice from the Attorney General's office, the accused was charged and brought before the court. Thank you so much for your attention this morning. Here lies the end of the news for today. Onto the headlines I read. Over 300,000 Ghanaians have been vaccinated. NLC meets workers, unions Dombo University. Ivory Coast Prime Minister Hamed Bakayoko dies. These and many other stories we brought your way this morning. You're logged on to HitzAfrik Radio in Ghana, www.modernghana.com, and the TuneIn app, HitzAfrik Radio. Thank you for your attention and have a lovely morning. The name is Abena Ahini. Stay tuned for more news and entertainment.